Hello and welcome to Views on News. I am Jawad Tehami. Pakistan has carried out intelligence-based anti-terrorist operation in the border regions within Afghanistan. This has been confirmed by Pakistan's Foreign Office in a statement, adding, let me quote it, the prime target of today's operation was the terrorists belonging to Hafiz Gul Bahadur group, which along with TTP is responsible for multiple terrorist attacks inside Pakistan. The latest attack took place on 16th of March 2024 at a security post in Mir Ali in North Waziristan and claimed the lives of 7 Pakistani soldiers. Over the past 2 years, Pakistan has repeatedly conveyed its serious concerns to interim Afghan government over the presence of terror outfits, including TTP, inside Afghanistan. Certain elements among those in power in Afghanistan are actively patronizing TTP and using them as a proxy against Pakistan, which manifests short-sightedness. Earlier we saw Defense Minister Khaja Mohammad Asif saying, let me quote him, terrorism against us is mostly being conducted from Afghanistan, unquote. We've also seen a statement coming from Inter-Services Public Relations also, let me quote it. The Afghan interim government is not only arming the terrorists, but also providing a safe haven for other terrorist organizations, as well as being involved in the incidents of terrorism in Pakistan. During the attack by the terrorists on 16th of March 2024 in Mir Ali area of North Waziristan, the fabric of loss of precious lives is also found, with the terrorists taking shelter in Afghanistan, unquote. Earlier we saw President Asif Ali Zardari had asserted that the blood of the martyrs would not go in vain and the country would avenge those deaths. Also, we have seen Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif paying a visit to the residences of Captain Ahmad Badr Shaheed and Lieutenant Colonel Sayyid Kashif Ali Shaheed and offered heartfelt condolences to the family. Also, in another major development, according to ISPR, an intelligence-based operation in North Waziristan district was conducted, and during the conduct of the operation, after intense fire exchange, 8 terrorists, including high-value target terrorist Commander Sera Janan, were sent to hell. The terrorist was involved in orchestrating terrorist attack on security forces post in Mir Ali on 16th of March and was highly wanted by the law enforcement agencies. These important developments are up for discussion in today's show. Let me quickly bring in our panelists. We are honored to have been joined in the studio by Dr. Shafqat Munir Ahmad. He's security analyst. Dr. Ahmad, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. On Skype at the same time, we are honored to have been joined by Brigadier retired Haris Nawaz. He's senior analyst and former caretaker Home Minister Sindh. Brigadier Nawaz, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. Dr. Ahmad, if you allow me, let me begin the discussion with Brigadier Nawaz. Brigadier Nawaz, now this particular intelligence-based anti-terrorist operations in the border regions inside Afghanistan, there's been a confirmation by the Pakistan's Foreign Office speaking volumes about the Pakistan's will and the capacity that whatever had been going on as far as the resurgence of terrorism in Pakistan is concerned, that is completely unacceptable, and Pakistan has the will and the capacity to retaliate befittingly. Your understanding regarding that?
You see, the point is Pakistan government has been telling Afghan interim government many times, I would say a number of times, that please look into it. We ask you only one thing, nothing more and nothing less. And that is, as per the Doha Agreement, please honor your commitment to stop allowing any terrorist organization to operate from your homeland against neighboring countries. That was the only respect. On the contrary, government of Pakistan done a lot for them, whether it is logistics, it is Afghan transit, or during Safarat Kari, I would say we were working just as ambassadors for the world to at least see that they have a politically inclusive government and the government start giving them funds so that they develop and have rid of the government. But they were not realizing. Many times when the terrorists were killed here in Pakistan, they were Afghan nationals, they were TTP, they were carrying all weapons, ammunition, latest which Americans had left. That means that had been provided to them by the Afghan government or or the weak government or certain elements sitting inside Afghan government who were supporting them. That was the reason ultimately Pakistan had to go and carry out surgical strike. But that too, it was a very mild response, and we tried our best there should be no collateral damage, and that is what exactly happened. No civilian was killed, and we destroyed their training camps. Then we try to disorganize them, dismantle their setups so that they remain dispersed and don't carry out operations in Pakistan. Still reiterating by our foreign office that Pakistan respects the territorial boundaries of Afghan people. They are our brothers, but then the brothers have some responsibility. They have to respond to Pakistan respects. And that is what Pakistan has been telling. Again, we still expect then Afghan government will respond positively. They will like to invite Pakistan delegation to Afghanistan, or Pakistan, or of course they come to Pakistan and they sit down and find a solution. It is mutually benefiting for both the countries. You see, the point is Pakistan government, Pakistan military is responsible for the life and security of people of Pakistan and the military person. We have suffered a lot. We have lost about 80, 90,000 people already through when the operations were there. Then now we have to ensure the way things that happened on 16th of this month when we lost Lieutenant Colonel, we lost a captain, and we lost five gallant Jawans. And that is why we had to carry an operation in which we went for North Pakistan and we killed 8 terrorists in which the main ringleader of this 16th Mir Ali operation was also killed. So now is the time. I think the sense should prevail. The Afghan Taliban must understand, and those elements who are sitting in the government and supporting Gul Bahadur, Hafiz Gul Bahadur group and TTP group, they need to realize this. We can't go for it, allow this to happen many, many times. This is the time now they have to come, sit down, find a solution. Otherwise, we will constrain to go and again carry out surgical strike in case we need to. That is what it is. But we never wanted to do it. We still believe and we want to have a very cordial relationship with the Afghan interim government. But the onus is now with them. They have to realize Pakistan has done a lot, and it is a mutual benefiting for both of us that we now sit down. But Pakistan has to only invite them. We can request them, and we have very simple demand. We don't have any other demand. The only one thing: don't let your land be used against by any terrorist organization against our territory, and we are suffering a lot. It is our military people that are getting shahadat, civilians getting shahadat, damage to life and property, civil property, public property. So this is the end of it. Water is flowing over our heads. We can't tolerate anything more. Jay, this is what the Foreign Office has told them very politely. We have a lot of respect for Pashtuns across the border, but then it is their responsibility also to look after your neighbors who have always stood under all weathers and stress conditions to support you. I think this is what we'll make to realize them. This is the time they should understand and move positively towards solving this issue.
Right, Brigadier Nawaz, when we talk about the pattern over the last 2 years, ever since the Kabul was taken over by the Afghan Taliban, as you have also mentioned, this particular statement of the Foreign Office also speaks volumes that repeatedly the interim Afghan authorities have been conveyed regarding this particular concern of the Pakistani authorities. By looking at the pattern over the last 2 years since the takeover of Kabul, do you think after this particular intelligence-based operation inside Afghanistan, the interim Afghan authorities are going to take this matter up seriously this time around and ensure that all the legitimate concerns of the Pakistani authorities are going to be dealt with and properly addressed when it comes to specifically the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan?
You see, the point is there have been 16, 17 occasions where we had terrorist activities in Pakistan in that the weapons were for American mates, they were Afghan national. Time and again, we have been warning Afghan interim government, please look into this. Please carry out your own operation. Please disarm these people who are doing terrorist activity in Pakistan. We told them a number of times. I think, but then the responsibility with them, you have to respond. And I think there should be some responsibility on your side. So, but I am very hopeless. Afghans are not understanding that they are playing with fire. Pakistan has the capacity to go and strike inside. If Americans do what all they have been doing, see Israel what is doing it. But we are very concerned because our Pashtun brothers are the other side, and they are Afghan brothers. We have historical relation with them, cultural, political, so many neighborhood. So in that context, this is the call is now on the other side. They have to understand that now what do they want. I think they should talk to Pakistan and they should carry out own operation inside their own territory, show that you have a writ of the government, you can disarm these TTP people. If you have been having the same ideology during the American war, Afghan war, but now they have gone. Now you can't kill innocent Muslims in Pakistani Muslims, and then you say we are not doing anything. Whenever your people are caught here, your weapons are caught, identification is carried out, verified. You say they're not our people, but who doesn't know that TTP is stationed there? Hafiz Gulbuddin team is there. They are all operating against Pakistan. That is what I am saying. Now they have to do, and if they don't respond, if it's a lukewarm response, then we have to react on. But we'll be very, very careful that they have to be, there should be no collateral damage. It should not be, no, there should no innocent civilian because they are part of Pakistan. We understand, we have relatives both sides. So, but then they have a responsibility to honor it. That's what I'm saying. Now the ball is in the court of Afghan interim government. Either they sit down on the table and find a solution, or then Pakistan will have to forcefully and helplessly, we have to go inside and carry out surgical strikes.
Right, let me proceed with the discussion. Dr. Ahmad, now this particular operation that is being carried out from Pakistan, after repeated calls on the interim Afghan authorities that this is their responsibility to take concrete action against the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is based inside Afghanistan, using the Afghan soil to carry out those terrorist attacks inside Pakistan, hasn't been any concrete sort of action so far. Till a day came when Pakistan had to resort to this sort of an action. What here onwards, what is that you expect from the interim Afghan authorities to ideally go about from this moment onwards?
I think this is their fault because they have not been hearing Pakistan's restraint. Pakistan has been time and again telling them that come to Doha agreement, and that is the only solution to look into this matter. But they probably because of their own internal dynamics, because Taliban are not homogeneous entity within Afghanistan, they also have some different fighting groups. Maybe there is some dynamics were not allowing them to do it, or they were not willing to do it. But Pakistan has with this operation has categorically told them that Pakistan has the ability to defend its country, its all territories. And this message also goes to through Taliban, the TTP and the newly merged Gul Bahadur group and re-emergence of all these groups. Now, who allowed them? There is, you see, when there is fighting going on, somebody is funding it, somebody is manning it, somebody is training it, somebody is providing weapons to the fighters. So, who is that somebody? Where the territory is being used? Certainly, the onus is on them. They should have taken it seriously, but they have not taken it. Now, with this operation, there is a categorical operation and there is a time for the Afghan interim government to think through. They should tell them if there were certain internal dynamics, they should categorically tell them these groups that now they cannot defend them, because Pakistan has the the power to overpower them. And if the Pakistan repeatedly does that kind of operation against terrorists, then again we have respect for Afghan territory, because they are our brothers. There are Afghan Pashtun living both sides of the border. Despite that, Pakistan has shown its restraint first and then its reaction, and that reaction is very timely, and that gives a message to Taliban also, Taliban regime in Afghanistan, that they should talk in categorical terms to these fighting groups, that if they will not come to the negotiating table or they will not sort it out, then certainly there is an action and they have to face the music. So that's the time for rather that's a diplomatic kind of a ploy for the Afghan interim government. They have the chance now to come to this negotiation table and bring them to negotiation table. Ultimately, this fighting would not be in their support, neither the Taliban or TTP. So both have to come to the
But looking at
negotiating
the
table.
pattern of the last 2 years since they took over Kabul back in 2021, we saw despite the repeated concerns raised by the Pakistani authorities with irrefutable evidence of the Afghan nationals being involved in the terrorist activities over here in Pakistan, and also mostly claimed by the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and its affiliates. Now, by looking at that particular pattern, there'd been a denial, a complete denial on the part of the interim Afghan authorities, with their chief spokesperson time and again saying that it's not that TTP is based in Afghanistan and it is the problem of Pakistan of its own and it has to deal by itself. Now, after this particular thing, there has been also a similar sort of pattern adopted by the interim Afghan authorities. Earlier there was a denial, now there are certain statements as reported by certain sections of media being threatening in the tone. Do you think that would serve their purpose in return?
I think their threatening would not serve, because now it is going to expose Pakistan still exercise restraint. Only there is a limited kind of a very limited kind of operation. Otherwise, Pakistan could have go more on that. If you look into the security situation, Pakistan is the intelligence based operations. Now Pakistan is trained on these kind of operation, whether inside our territory to deal with these extremists or outside. So our army is now trained to fight this kind of thing. So that's not the time that they give a threatening tone. Threatening tone is because they think that some other we should not ignore that there be some regional dynamics within, and we should not hide that there could be some Indian interest as well, because in Afghanistan we cannot deny that there is an Indian influence as well. So if they think that they can under this garb or this support they can go like this, that would not going to work, because they have to ultimately now the situation will not stay here. It will again go to the round of negotiation. Those who were the guarantors, for example, China, Doha, Qatar, and other countries, those the friend countries, they would also talk on that. If that situation aggravates, certainly the issue will go to the table again, but it will be a regional and international table. Then they will lose their this credibility also, because they have already betrayed the Doha agreements, which they categorically said that their territory will not be used against any country. So now it's being used. So that they will be losing day by day politically, diplomatically, if they continue on this path.
Right, we are honored to have been joined by another participant on the phone line, Mr. Hassan Khan. He is Afghan affairs expert. Mr. Khan, thank you very much for your time, for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. Now, this particular important development, as Pakistan has carried out an intelligence operation, anti-terrorist operation in the border regions within Afghanistan. Do you think that the interim Afghan authorities are going to take this matter seriously now from this moment onwards, as far as their concrete action against the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan is concerned, which has been long a demand, especially over the last 2 years since Afghan Taliban took over Kabul? Mr. Hassan Khan, can you hear me, please? I think unfortunately we've lost the connection. We'll try to reconnect to Mr. Hassan Khan. Let me once again proceed towards Brigadier Nawaz. Brigadier Nawaz, now earlier the denials, now threatening tone after this particular operation that Pakistan has carried out. What does that speak about the attitude and the approach of the interim Afghan authorities?
I think Afghan authority definitely would not like it, and they would understand why Pakistan is forced to do this. But definitely, no international community cannot object to it, because they have been already doing it. Americans and Israelis and everybody, they have said we are free to go to any country to protect our life and property of our people. So likewise, the problem is Afghanistan interim government, they don't understand. I frankly telling you, they are thankless people. What we have done for them, I think they should realize it. And if they realize and they say, look inward, they should always remain thankful to Pakistan. Under all difficult conditions, we have been supporting them. We have suffered a lot of foreign exchange, but we allowed them to carry out Afghan trade, and then they were selling Pakistan goods to Eastern, Central Asian countries getting a lot of foreign exchange. Still, we have done nothing. We have been allowing them to come and study in Pakistan, medical facilities, the injured people coming getting treatment. All we have done. The issue is time Pakistan must realize one thing, that we have to send all illegal immigrants, even belonging to Afghanistan, should go back to their country, all illegal. Initially, we have sent 6-7 lakhs, but I know it is a time when there are people who are carrying, having ACC and POR cards, and they are Afghan nationals, they have to go back. Because it's a big nursery, and that is what we have faced a lot. Nowhere in the world refugees are allowed to go or anywhere in the country. They are given a specific area, those areas marked, they remain within the bound of those limits, and their provided food and security are responsible. It's only in Pakistan where they are spread all over Pakistan. They hide themselves. They're the suicide bombers. They get training from there. They get all reconnaissance of the area, and then they carry out suicide bombing and terrorist activity. So this is one of the factors. This is what we have. Then people realize that when they have economic hard work pushed over there, then they will realize how much Pakistan has been doing for them. We are getting nothing from United Nations Afghan High Commissioner of Refugees. It is hardly a peanut. And what all we have been doing hospitality. That's why I say it is still time for Afghan government to realize and shake hands with Pakistan, come to Pakistan, ask our reservation, and then try to accommodate it. That is what is a peaceful solution with our Afghan brothers, because we want to have the best of relations. We want that we are culturally, historically, religiously, I think we have a lot of bounds for each other. And then Afghans are both Pashtuns are on both sides, in the southern side. In that context, I feel that now is the time, and Pakistan government should definitely invite them, or we should go to them and sit down with them and tell them these are our reservations. This is the only answer. But let the Afghan people will not realize they have the same ideology with TTP, and that is what is harming Afghan government. It has a legitimate threat to them also. The earlier they realize, the better it is.
Right, Brigadier Nawaz, when we talk about Pakistan having done so much for the Afghan people over the number of years, especially when we talk about hosting Afghan refugees also over here for decades, we also saw the kind of role Pakistan played during the Afghan peace and reconciliation efforts also. Now, naturally, there should have been a reciprocation as far as the interim Afghan authorities are concerned, but we have seen practically things happening on the contrary. How do you weigh the balance of the equation? What has held the interim Afghan authorities from reciprocating for whatever the good and the positive things Pakistan has been doing for the Afghan people over the number of decades now?
If the issue is the Afghan Taliban and the TTP, they have the same ideology. During the American, when they were in Afghanistan, there was a fight going on. The TTP supported them, and now they are supporting TTP. There are a lot of elements in Afghan interim government who are supporting Gulbazar, Hafiz Gul Bahadur, and also TTP. That is the issue. But the point is, it is not at the cost of Pakistan. You have your own problems. You want to keep TTP in your country, do it, but don't let them come across Pakistan and create problems. That is what Pakistan wants. We have no love lost that TTP stays in Afghanistan and they have the best relation. Please be happy. But we don't want that they should carry weapons. They should infiltrate in Pakistan, and then they create law and order situation. They kill our civilians. They kill our troops. That is not acceptable. Same is happening in Balochistan. You see, the problem is that Indians and the other countries, they don't want CPEC should be completed. The more Afghanistan troublesome, the more Afghanistan unstable means we will have difficulty to complete CPEC, because then they are supporting BLA, BLF, BNA. Those are countries, people they are supporting in Pakistan. They create hurdles for to complete the CPEC. So these are the problems Pakistan has been telling them. But many times you have told them. The issue is they are not understanding. I think I have been telling many times on television that Pakistan should go for airstrikes, but no collateral damage. I think this is the time. Either Afghan government respond positively and they come to Pakistan and negotiate with us and listen to our problem, or then Pakistan has to go carrot strike in East Afghan territory. These are the options. The point, the ball is in Afghan government court. Let's see how they respond.
Right, Brigadier Nawaz, we are joined by Mr. Hassan Khan, is the Afghan affairs expert joining us on the phone line. Mr. Khan, thank you very much for your time. How do you see this particular operation on the part of the Pakistani authorities, despite repeatedly the concerns being conveyed over the last few years to the interim Afghan authorities? This particular day, Pakistani authorities have been trying their best to engage with the interim Afghan authorities through negotiations, through dialogue, giving them irrefutable evidence of the involvement of the terrorist elements from across the border, using the Afghan soil to carry out those terrorist attacks in Pakistan. From here onwards, how the interim Afghan authorities should be taking this matter up and addressing the concerns of Pakistani authorities?
Thank you very much. I think this Pakistan's response, we can say it was a very hard response. Earlier, Pakistan tried its level best to communicate, as you said, to the Afghan Interim Authority. Even Pakistan's permanent representative in the UN, Munir has few days back. He also asked the UN to investigate how the terrorist syndicates, particularly the TTP and other group, how they are getting the money, how they are getting the arms, etc. They are being housed and they are being taken care of in Afghanistan. And their number is not in few hundred; their number is in thousands. So I think the March 16 attack at a security checkpoint, there was too much, I think, for Pakistan to digest. The reason was these terrorists, without caring for the holy month of Ramadan, I think they attacked the security checkpost where a number of our security boys they embraced martyrdom. No doubt there was a very they courageously fought back, and though we lost senior officers in that attack, but the terrorists were, I think, sent to the hell. As for this Pakistan's cross-border attack on the hideouts of the terrorists is concerned, personally, observing the attitude of the Afghan Interim Authority, especially this Amarat-e-Islami, I'm not sure that it will force them to give further space. The reason is that they have nothing to lose, and already they have a different psychology. The best for Pakistan would have been I think, to further keep them engaged directly. So far, unfortunately, the line of communication between the two is very weak, and most of the time it is lost. So for Pakistan, because the reason is, at the moment, it's not only maybe there are sympathizers among the senior leadership of the Amarat-e-Islami for Pakistan. However, the Indian influence is growing there. The Iranian influence is going there, and so Pakistan's need to walk this route very carefully. Already, I think, and the Afghan front, we are the losers, as for I am observing. So, such like Pakistan's cross-border attacks on the Afghan side, personally, I feel, I may be wrong, but personally, I feel that it will create sympathies not only for the TTP and the allied terrorist organization, but among the Afghan Taliban, those who are have sympathies for Pakistan and they want to solve this issue one way or the other way. I think they will also lose the ground, and the hawkish, especially among the lower cadres of the Amarat-e-Islami, definitely they will get emboldened and definitely will create pressure on their leadership in a way to, I think, to let these people cross Pakistan's border and also engage with the Pakistan forces, and they will be further helped by especially the foot soldiers of Amarat-e-Islami. This is my personal keeping in view the Afghan psyche. However, definitely, if you go on the other side, Pakistan seems to have lost the options by forcing, especially the Amarat Islami, to ream these people, to stop them from attacking the Pakistan's interest within the Pakistan territory.
Right, Mr. Khan, now there happens to be a limit to the patience when such type of horrific terrorist attacks are being perpetrated using the Afghan soil, and repeatedly the Pakistani authorities with irrefutable evidence has been asking the interim Afghan authorities to take some concrete action as per their international obligation, which they made in the Doha Peace Accord to the international community. Now, what other options could Pakistan resort to? Pakistan had been trying to diplomatically engage continuously with the interim Afghan authorities. Also, when we specifically talk about the statement of the Foreign Office today, that Pakistan has stood through thick and thin with the Afghan people. There is so much that has been done by Pakistan for over the number of decades. What else is required? What are the concerns that have actually held the interim Afghan authorities to take a backseat and not going decisively with a concrete action against the major concern, the banned Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan?
Look, Tehami, I think this is a very crucial and important question. What I see, Pakistan need not to look at the Afghan authorities as a normal state. They have been from 2 decades of war. They fought against the international forces. They are definitely held by the Pakistan. But as far as the TTP people are concerned, they were hand in glove with the Afghan Taliban for almost 20 years, and both helped each other. And these TTP boys fought along with the Taliban against the international forces on Afghan side. However, at the moment, Pakistan is definitely in catch-22 situation because on one side, the TTP terrorists are emboldened. They are conducting heinous attack inside Pakistan territory. On the other side, Pakistan is communicating. Unfortunately, Afghanistan and Pakistan communicate with each other via megaphone or using the loudspeaker. I think this issue needs a very delicate handling. Now the new government is there, and we need to engage our friends, particularly friends like the Chinese, who have a growing influence inside Afghanistan. But my point is using such hard tactics, the way crossing the border, Pakistan will not only, I will repeat, Pakistan will not only, I think, lose those who are against, especially among the Afghan diaspora, who are against the TTP and who are in favor of Pakistan's position to stop these terrorist networks using the Afghan.
Mr. Khan, I seek your pardon for the interjection over here. So should Pakistan simply allow such type of terrorist activities being perpetrated by those terrorist outfits at their own wish and whim whenever they want?
No, I think that's not enough. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that Pakistan allow or look.
Right, Mr. Khan. Okay, so let's move to a very crucial point. There is another very important point. Let's talk about this. There is a statement by ISPR. We've also seen there are multiple reports by the United Nations regarding the access of the high caliber weapons which were left by NATO in Afghanistan during their troops withdrawal. They have gone into the hands of the Afghan authorities as well as the other terrorist groups. Now, with the help of the Afghan Taliban and the supply of the modern weapons, there has been an increase in the incidents of terrorism in Pakistan. On a number of occasions, we have seen the evidence of these high caliber NATO leftover weapons being used in terrorist activities which have been perpetrated from Afghan soil inside Pakistan. Is there any sort of a solution when it comes to dealing with this excess of high caliber NATO leftover weapons at the hands of the terrorist groups inside Afghanistan? is there any responsibility when we talk about the major Western powers who came and invaded Afghanistan, and while they were leaving Afghanistan, they didn't actually take care of those weapons and left those here, which fell into the hands of the terrorists?
I think, Tehami, this is not only an issue which is specific for Pakistan. I think this is a regional issue. It's not only the TTP, there are other terrorist syndicates, including the IMU, including the TTT, Tehrik-e-Taliban, Tajikistan, the ETIM, the Khorasan, etc. Mostly the terrorist network have got access to these lethal weapons, unfortunately left by a superpower and the NATO forces during their hasty withdrawal from Afghanistan. My point is that the way at the moment, no doubt, Pakistan is using its diplomatic corps to raise this issue at various international forums. Pakistan has also tried its level best to communicate. However, I'm still in favor of direct engagement with the Kabul administration. That's the only way. I think my point is reading the Afghan psyche, understanding the Afghan psyche, such like, they have been in war for almost 4 decades. There is not a single, there is not a single building which has not got a bullet. I think there will not be a single family that would not have been affected by by these wars. I'm not trivializing or desensitizing the Afghan society's approach toward the war and the ravages of war. However, as a Pakistani, we as a normal state, as a functioning state, strong state institutions, my way will be through such tactics. Already India have got so much ingress inside Afghanistan. The trade between Taliban and Afghanistan, Taliban government in India have crossed almost $600 million. So most of the ground where we have inside Afghanistan, we lost that to Iran and other regional neighboring countries. My point will be, definitely it is an issue for Pakistan, but this issue can be resolved through a hard negotiation, soft negotiation, engaging other track 2 and the track 3 diplomacy to convince the Taliban to come on our line. The way we are doing it, my point is that definitely we will lose more.
There is still, Mr. Khan, there is still hope by looking at this statement of the Foreign Office that says, let me quote it, that the terrorist groups like TTP are a collective threat to regional peace and security. We fully realize the challenge Afghan authorities face in combating the threat posed by TTP. Pakistan would therefore continue to work towards finding joint solutions in countering terrorism and to prevent any terrorist organization from sabotaging bilateral relations with Afghanistan, giving us a clear sense that Pakistani authorities also fully understand that, and we have also seen in the past as well that Pakistan has always been desirous of peaceful and stable Afghanistan. So the onus of bringing that stability from that side of the border rests on the shoulders of the interim Afghan authorities. Mr. Hassan Khan, thank you very much for being with us on the show tonight. We really appreciate that. And Dr. Ahmad, your take regarding this part of the statement. Pakistani authorities still want to find the joint solutions of the problem. What else Pakistan should be doing, diplomatically engaging with them? Are there any points where Pakistan can go a bit extra mile in order to win that trust or that confidence among the interim Afghan authorities? Are there any further options?
As I earlier said, that this is an opportunity for the Afghan government with this action by Pakistan, that they can negotiate with them, that if they would continue, I mean the TTP and other group will continue anti-Pakistan activity from the soil, it will not be in Afghan government's favor, or they cannot favor them, or they cannot defend them more. This is a chance that they can tell them. But again, this should be conveyed through the diplomatic channels. Pakistan should, as the Foreign Office statement already clearly said, and then certainly we should talk to the regional powers, Russia, Central Asian states, China, Middle Eastern countries, those who have stakes there, because if Afghanistan is not peaceful and stable, then certainly the CPAC and other activities, even the Central Asian corridors, they cannot be built. So this whole region will remain, unstable. So that the stability of Afghanistan and Pakistan both is important for the regional stability.
That is exactly,
and that's why that's the space where Pakistan should involve all the regional players, and so that they can pressurize and they can bring them on the table.
There was a concern also raised by Russia also. We saw the Moscow format meeting also at the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. There was also certain statements made by China also. So this particular terror threat is equal for everybody, every single regional country. So they are already cognizant of the fact. So isn't it more on the shoulders of the interim Afghan authorities? Regional countries realize that stability and peace in Afghanistan is of crucial importance because of the connectivity and the dividends that might be reaped out of it. Why don't the Afghan Taliban realize the dividends associated with connectivity and the peace and security if it comes completely in Afghanistan?
Because number one is ideology, as we are discussing, because they do not want to betray their ideology. And there is a thinking, if you talk about the Khorasan group and other, they have a theory behind it, why they are fighting. They consider the Afghan Taliban and their regime as an example that this is a revolution, this is they came to power, and similarly they can overpower the state in Pakistan. But situation is different. Afghanistan and Pakistan are not the similar terrain or the history of that. Pakistan is a state which is is a nuclear power, which has all system, regular system, but only a few thousand Afghan Taliban, they are holding Kabul and some areas, with of course with the connivance of other warlords. But that model is not here. So that there is a time that Taliban should understand that they cannot replicate it in Pakistan. Secondly, why the ideology they are sticking to that, both the Afghan Taliban and the TTP and anti-Pakistan Taliban, because in Pakistan also there is an ideology. A lot of people, because generally you have seen over the last 2-3 decades, generally in Pakistani society the religious extremism is growing. That's why Pakistan at one side is working on the diplomatic front, and secondly Pakistan government has set up a counter violent extremism department in the counter-terrorism authority, so that we should separate both the extremism and terrorism. Extremism is the start of the terrorism. That's why this authority will de-radicalize the elements which could be going toward that. So that sympathy pocket should also be eliminated from here within. Thirdly, the resurgence we are talking about around this ideology. Pakistan has to have to take an action to dismantle these regroupings, because Pakistan has sources. So even within Afghanistan territory, if these kind of few operations are done there, these resurgence and the regrouping of these groups, particularly the newly emerged group, that is very much possible. If that has been broken and this ideology things are broken, this will again would be encouraging to Afghan Taliban, because as I earlier said, Afghan Taliban within their own local dynamics, they feel threatened by the TTP and other groups. They think that they might be fighting, because fighting is their business. It has nothing to do with religion. That's why we should support in various means, by various action to the Taliban, so that the Taliban in Kabul, so that they take action, or they come to, they have a courage to take action against them. So that could be a multiple kind of solution which Pakistan can take.
Right. Brigadier Nawaz, what's your understanding when we talk about especially this particular case of the access of the modern weapons in the hands of the terrorist groups? Now this statement also saying that these are being supplied by the Afghan Taliban to the terrorist groups. Also, there are multiple reports by the United Nations in the recent past alluding to the fact, and also this issue being raised by Pakistan's permanent representative to the United Nations, Mr. Munir also, that this should be probed as to where and why and how these terrorist groups got hold and the access to these high NATO caliber weapons. Who is responsible for that?
You see, Jawad, this is a very, very sore point for Pakistan. And let me tell you, Americans have been very unfair. While leaving or running from Afghanistan, they had no business to leave in abundance, all weapons, ammunition, lightweight devices, high caliber weapons. And I think they wanted that they must fall into the hands of these terrorist organizations. And Afghanistan remained troublesome, and troublesome Afghanistan means they bring a lot of instability in Pakistan and Balochistan, and we don't complete our CPAC flag. This is the target. This is what is a big problem, and now the onus is on Americans and European Union. They have to support Pakistan militarily, economically, so that we can face all these challenges. There was no reason, and then it was a weak Afghan government. They should have immediately got hold of all those stores and places where the weapons had been left unattended. They didn't do anything. I think they also had no writ of the government, so it fell into the hand of the terrorist organization. Otherwise, the American either should have taken all ammunition weapons with them, or they should have called Afghan Taliban, please come, take over, take responsibility, we are likely to leave. So that has created a lot of problem because now all those weapons are being used in Pakistan against terrorism. Whether these are high caliber weapons, they're night vision devices, and then they have a latest night weapons and ammunition, which has created a lot of problem in Pakistan. Whenever we kill those terrorists, all weapons are American made. Now, this should be realized by the Americans. I think this need to be checked. Pakistan needs to strongly talk to Americans that why you have done it, and now they have to do something extra for Pakistan.
Brigadier retired Haris Nawaz, senior analyst and former caretaker Home Minister Sindh, joining us on Skype. Thank you very much for taking time out for Views on News tonight. Really appreciate that. In the studio, we were joined by Dr. Shafqat Munir Ahmad, security analyst. Dr. Ahmad, thank you very much for your time, also for being with us on the show tonight. Really appreciate that. With that, we come to the end of today's episode. Till the next one, take good care of yourselves.